since election day is coming up, encourage people to vote for
Lower taxes.
lower taxes.
I had a landline that never gets used, and I was looking at the bill one day, and the taxes on the bill were actually more than the bill for the phone usage, and there was no calls. And then I started thinking, gee, what about all the other taxes that I'm paying? And one thing led to another, and the next thing you know,
It's a song.
I saw an editorial in the Orlando Sentinel newspaper in Orlando. The editor was retiring. His last editorial was a combination of a poem that he wrote about all the layers of taxation. He clearly describes, the layers of taxation in this poem. He also describes how the House of Representatives and the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the President, that number of people govern 300 million people. And, if you are complaining about the status quo of things in the country, the people have nobody to blame but themselves for electing politicians that are not looking out for the best interest of the people. They're serving, their masters, the hidden hand behind the curtain, the corporate donors, the donor class, no longer serving it. All throughout history, the elites have used the labor energy of the lower class. It's morphed over the centuries, from one system to another. And we're no longer in a feudal system, but it seems like we're going back that way. And so what we have now is the same system, only disguised in taxation. People get up, they go to work, and then they pay taxes.
Tax 3 or 4 times on one particular item.
Yeah, it's
You just don't notice it, but, you really look into it. It's right there.
1% and the 1% of the 1%. It's just taking, such advantage of the 99% that, people look at it and they just go, hey, this is so corrupt and evil and, it just isn't fair, it isn't right, I don't want to play. I don't want any part of it. It's a fine line between, how much is enough and how much is too much.
That's true.
And they need
Balance it out.
they need people with, higher pay grade than us to figure that out. But one thing we know is it ain't working now. They use the tax base to pay the giant MasterCard. They print up the debt, they run up the debt, and then they use the tax base to make the payments on the debt. So the taxpayers are essentially just left holding the bag on the debt at the end of the day. Money always finds a way to get into politics. There's no stopping it. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Is she?
Should I take my clothes off?